Hello everyone, and welcome to the Trust Broken channel. Today we're diving into a story from Reddit. Before we begin, please support the channel by subscribing, liking this video if you find the story compelling, and sharing your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement is what allows this channel to grow. I methodically inspected the house, ensuring nothing was left behind. My bag was already packed. I had informed my wife, Isabella, that I would be leaving the corporate sedan at the airport. In reality, it remained at the office parking garage. My retirement came at 48. I opted for a reduced pension, allowing my stock options to constitute the bulk of my financial package. This strategy meant no immediate taxes and significantly larger payouts. I had been quietly liquidating and moving the funds for months. The previous Friday was my final day. I cashed everything out. My last paycheck, accrued vacation pay, and $950,000 in stock. I deliberately waited until today to deposit the funds, ensuring they wouldn't be considered joint property. My suits were given away, save for one. The rest of my wardrobe was either sold or discarded. I relocated to a place where the cost of living was a fraction of what it was. The rental truck was secured under my Uncle Robert's name, paid for in cash. I had left the East Coast, my career, and my wife. I needed a fresh start. It helped that she had always detested the small farm I inherited and still owned. I'd married a woman of high society, a fact I should have recognized sooner. But now it was to my advantage. The farm remained solely mine, and the rental income from its land provided a steady financial cushion. My new life would involve fixing tractors, a welcome change from managing factory supply chains. The old farmhouse was habitable enough. I called Isabella, telling her I'd be gone before her flight returned. "I can't wait to be home," she said, her voice full of false excitement. The stage was set for her party. Our daughters and their husbands were scheduled to arrive early. Isabella's boss and his wife were also on the guest list. "She said they were coming," my daughter Olivia mentioned, oblivious to the real reason for the gathering. There were 60 guests for a belated promotion party she claimed to have missed due to work. I knew the truth. I left a video for them. "Play it at the end," I instructed. "Use the large television on the patio," I texted my son-in-law Liam from my new, untraceable number. He and I had worked together, and he had his suspicions about the affair. He wasn't certain until I showed him the file. "Delete your social media. Wipe your digital footprint." It was done. As Isabella's plane was taking off, he added, "Let her wonder. She's earned it." Even with a divorce, she'd get half of our declared assets. But I would be fine. I had already sent the updated financial statements to my new lawyer. I had more than enough to purchase a new property with cash to spare. I tossed my old phone into a public trash can. No one would notice its absence until the party's conclusion. Leaving New York was surprisingly simple. The journey back to Montana felt right, a return to something real. I smiled, realizing no more than a handful of people would genuinely miss me. I purchased a new phone and made a single call. "This is my new number. I'm on my way." "Understood," she replied. I turned off the phone to conserve the battery. The drive west would be long, but the mid-September roads were clear. Autumn was approaching, and the landscape was beginning to change. Isabella and I had met at a classic rock festival years ago. She was born and raised in Boston. I was from out of state. We were married a year to the day later. My parents flew in for the small ceremony. My career was in R&D, hers was in import-export marketing. We stayed together for years. Even now, Isabella was a striking woman, with the same figure as the day we met. She knew how to present herself. I hadn't aged as gracefully, the standard middle-aged spread and graying hair. Isabella was eager to get home, but not for the reasons she claimed. She had just spent 3 weeks with her boss and lover, Marcus Vance. She pitied me, her husband, for missing the celebration. But these things happen in busy lives. Marcus had been an exciting diversion. The passion was thrilling, but she preferred the predictable routine of our life, the steady, safe affection. As the jet landed, she was still thinking about her trip. The surprise hit her the moment she walked in. The house was filled with family. Daughters, sons-in-law, friends, and even her co-workers. Then she saw Marcus and his wife. Who invited them, she asked, a flicker of panic in her eyes. Our oldest, Olivia, smiled. I did. He's always praising you at the office. His wife was eager to finally meet you. Isabella glowed, feeling proud and special. At 9 p.m., our daughters took the stage. Mom, the twins said, Dad didn't want to miss this. He made something for you. They turned on the patio television and pressed play. The room went silent. My voice filled the air. Happy promotion, darling, I began with a half smile. A few people chuckled. Isabella grinned, seated front and center. I figured since I couldn't be there tonight, I'd still drop in, I continued. It's been a significant year. Our first grandson, a loud little guy with your eyes. Our youngest daughter finally getting married. We made it to another anniversary. We even started planning a second honeymoon, just like old times. On screen, I leaned forward, my eyes steady. Honestly, I thought we were getting back to where we started, before life got complicated, before we became roommates pretending to be lovers. A few people shifted uncomfortably. But then, my tone dropped, I came back from that business trip and found something on our security feed. The screen cut to security footage. No warning, no sugarcoating. There was Isabella and our daughters on that very patio, wine glasses in hand, laughing like teenagers. But they weren't swapping recipes. The party fell completely silent. The only sound was the audio from the video. They were bragging about their lovers, about how easy it was to lie, how clueless their husbands were. They named names, mentioned hotels, and recounted the excuses they fed their spouses. Isabella? She was the ringleader. She even joked about searching for her next affair like she was shopping for shoes. The husbands in the crowd stared, some blinking as if they'd been slapped. One of my sons-in-law rubbed his temples. On the screen, I leaned back, cool and collected. Wild, huh? I said. At first, I couldn't believe it either, so I did what anyone would do. I dug deeper. The second clip began. Isabella and her boss, Marcus Vance. In Lisbon, long walks on the beach, without clothes, a single hotel room, one double bed, sunset dinners, carriage rides through Parque Eduardo 7 like they were newlyweds, a private cruise around the cove. Some guests covered their mouths. A few wives avoided their husband's gaze. The video ended. I reappeared on screen, leaning closer. Isabella, I said slowly, was this your promotion gift to yourself? A romantic getaway with Marcus? I won't pretend to know what happened every night, but I'm certain there was only one bed. I turned my head slightly. And to my sons-in-law watching this, you might want to talk with your wives tonight. I wish someone had warned me. The oxygen seemed to vanish from the patio. I stared into the camera. No blinking, no mercy. Isabella, if you were that miserable, you could have asked for a divorce. But you chose this, year after year. So tell me, is Marcus paying you for this overtime? Or is it just a fringe benefit? I shrugged. Just curious. The screen went black. No one moved or spoke. I later heard Isabella and our daughters were crying. I couldn't tell if it was from guilt or shock. I doubted they cared about me. The best part? Marcus Vance's wife Chloe handed both him and Isabella divorce papers that night. Word is, she enjoyed it. She slapped Isabella and called her some vile names. Now both of them were being dumped. Facing the crowd made it worse for them. I wondered if they even grasped the extent of the mess they'd created. Marcus stood frozen. He never imagined he'd be caught, especially not in front of his wife. He assumed Chloe suspected nothing. Then it hit him. She was my lawyer. Isabella had destroyed more than just our marriage. Several marriages were shattered that night. My two sons-in-law told their wives not to come home until they were ready for complete honesty. Even in our modern world, some lines still matter. It's a shame this is what it took to teach them that. I drove until I couldn't keep my eyes open, then pulled into a roadside motel. I parked where the office had a clear view. I checked in, took my suitcase and new phone, and went to my room. After a long shower, I lay down and charged the phone. Curiosity got the better of me. I checked for messages. There was one. Home from the party. Call me. I dialed. Chloe answered immediately. Hey, darling, I said. How did it go? Better than we could have hoped. About 60 people showed up. Everyone was having a great time. Isabella was playing the queen bee, loving the attention. Then your daughters played the video. They never saw it coming. She chuckled. Thanks to you, I picked up 3 new clients right there. She paused. After the video, they realized they forgot to turn off the security cameras. The best part? All 4 of them said, "Oh crap, we're screwed," in perfect sync. The whole party heard it. Chloe laughed again. Your daughter's faces said it all. Then the clip of the getaway played. There was no denying it. When I served them the papers, people scattered like someone yelled fire. My sons-in-law pulled me aside. They asked if I was a divorce lawyer. I said yes and took 3 retainers on the spot. It looks like your daughters are facing divorces too. I left Marcus at the party and drove his car home. She sounded pleased. Did they try to call me? I asked. After everyone left, your wife found your phone ringing in the trash. That hit her harder than anything you could have said. It was the final proof you were done. She paused. Marcus just stood there silently, thinking he'd been careful. The poor guy never saw it coming. I grinned. 6 months to go. I don't regret checking those cameras. Without them, I wouldn't have met you. Maybe Isabella was settled without a fight. Still planning to liquidate? Unless she buys me out, with people leaving New York, she might get a bargain. Either way, she'll panic when she learns you've left your firm. Chloe let out a breath. I'm listing my practice tomorrow. I told my sister and her husband you're on your way. He's excited to meet you. He still remembers how you helped him secure that tractor dealership. She paused. This is just the beginning. I wonder if they'll still be smiling when it's all over. I gave my answer and hung up. Isabella stood in the empty house, holding my old phone. She wanted to tell me Marcus meant nothing, that our daughters were mine. But it hit her. I no longer cared. This was my way of showing the world I was done. Her lies had caused all of this. The fun, the thrill, the secret affairs, none of it was worth the price she was now paying. There was no fixing it. Theirs was a small, interconnected community. People might forgive, but they never forget. Whispers would follow her for years. My message had been clear. I had cut them out of my life, at least for now. She might have hoped I'd forgive her again, as I always had. But this time was different. Isabella knew she hadn't planned this disaster. It had crept in slowly.
Hiding behind a modern perspective, she blamed others, never herself. She convinced herself no one was getting hurt. After getting away with it once, she didn't stop. Marcus was her third affair. She never thought she'd get caught. Our busy careers kept us both distracted, but her own carelessness tipped me off. Now even her daughters were paying the price. Chloe and I grew up less than 40 miles apart, but our paths never crossed. I was out of school before she started. When I first booked an appointment, it was simply to inquire about a divorce. By chance, she took my case. When I showed her the video, she froze. The man on the tape was her husband. We checked her social media. It confirmed everything. That day, we both knew our old lives were over. We talked for hours about ethics, betrayal, and what to do next. We agreed to work together. It began as a lawyer-client relationship, but slowly we helped each other heal. It evolved into a friendship. We weren't searching for love, we just needed someone who understood. Sharing stories of growing up in the same region, laughing about places we both knew brought us closer. Last week, we admitted it had become something more. We agreed to keep it simple until the divorces were final. 12 days ago, right after I said my final goodbye to Isabella, Chloe called. She had told her daughters about Marcus, but they hadn't believed her. "Are your daughters still there?" I asked. "Yes," she said. "Let me talk to them." When her oldest daughter answered, I said, "Your mother is my lawyer. I have proof. I didn't know who she was when I hired her. It wasn't until she saw my video that we realized we had the same problem. Please, just look at the proof before you judge." Half an hour later, Chloe's daughters were at my place. I showed them how the house's security system worked. The outside cameras could be disarmed before entry, but the inside ones stayed on unless manually shut off. I wanted them to understand before they saw the clip. I played the video. They saw and heard Isabella and my daughters talking openly. Then came the worst part. Hearing their own father's private conversations with my wife. It hit them hard. "This is what your mom saw," I said. "She couldn't tell you because of ethics. Right now, your dad and my wife are on their business trip. I have people gathering more proof. When Isabella returns, she'll be served." We had a long conversation about vows and trust. I told them forgiveness is one thing, but rebuilding trust is another entirely. I shared my fear that my own daughters were copying their mother's example. As Isabella herself admitted on the tape, the behavior had been going on for years. The girls understood this wasn't just about broken vows, it shattered their entire perception of their families. Then Mia, the younger one, said something sharp. "If they truly respected you, they wouldn't have done this." Later, I called Chloe to share what had happened. She told me, "They actually opened up. Her sister, Amber, said you reminded her of their grandpa. Simple words, big lessons." Chloe and I realized we were both longing for a simpler life, away from the noise, the rush, and the lies of the life we had left behind. The next morning, I hit the road again, back on the interstate, planning to be in Colorado by nightfall. I took my time, stopping at places I'd always just driven past. Strangely, I felt a sense of calm. That night, after checking into an inn, I found an email from Liam, my oldest son-in-law. He asked me to call and left his number. I called. "Hey, Liam." "Hey, Dad. Glad you called," he said. "Where are you?" "On the road, licking my wounds," I said with a dry laugh. He chuckled. "I'll pass that on. It's been wild. Isabella showed up at the office demanding to know where you were, saying she wanted to patch things up. When she learned you'd retired, she called me. I told her you'd moved."
She called me a liar and started asking where your checks were going? I had to call security. I shouldn't have laughed, but I did. He continued, "It gets better. Olivia's mom called. Isabella got fired. That happened right after Marcus was served with your alienation of affection suit, too. A multi-million-dollar suit. Isabella had to call a cab home. Now she's lawyering up. Liam added, Olivia wants to come home to see our son. I told her I'm not doing anything until I know he's mine. If she doesn't like it, she can sue. She claims she hasn't cheated since you were married, I said. Not what she said on that video, he replied. At least they're leaving you alone, I said. Honestly, I'm enjoying this trip. Best thing I've done in years. Question is, are you really divorcing her? Liam sighed. The twins grabbed their things and moved in with Isabella. Olivia's staying there too. No one else wants to see them. As for our divorce, if that kid's not mine, I'm done. Truthfully, I think I bought into a lie. Olivia showed me what she wanted me to see, he said. I've had a few months to think. I know what I can and can't live with. Take your time, Dad. I am, I said. I'm starting fresh. The new place is cheaper, quieter, and I have a small consulting gig lined up. No ties, no suits. You'll be missed, Liam said. People here respected you. You told them the truth even when it hurt. Is this your new number? It is. Keep it between us for now. And one more thing. If Isabella asks, tell her she's free to go back to one of her other friends. She's treated me like a backup plan for years. What I didn't know was that Liam recorded our call and sent it to my wife and daughters. Isabella was not happy. She felt I had no right to advise him. But my daughters started to see the cost of living like their mother. Their husbands wanted distance. Even they were pulling away from her. Later, I called Chloe. She was upbeat. The firm was busy, 5 new divorce cases, all thanks to Isabella's party. It turned out a few more of Isabella's flings had been exposed. Chloe also mentioned Isabella's firing. Marcus is trying to fix it, she said, but the board already spoke to me. They want me back, with a promotion. He'll be demoted. He used company funds for his little trips. Chloe told her daughters she was moving back to Montana. If you want to stay here, you'll need to live with your father or find a new place. I want a simpler life, she had told them. Her daughter Mia had asked, Is it because you love Ethan? I do, but nothing has happened yet. Mia smiled. I hope it makes you feel young again. It does, Chloe said. You're old enough now. Make better choices than we did. As I drove west, I knew Isabella would have a hard time finding another man like me. The story was too public, too raw. I wondered how long it would take for her to realize what she had truly lost. I rolled into town just after noon, exhausted after 4 long days behind the wheel. The truck was caked in dust from every back road I'd taken. I found a small diner I remembered from my childhood. It hadn't changed a bit. Same cracked leather booths, same faded photos on the wall, probably the same waitress. I slid into a booth and ordered a burger, fries, and the strongest coffee they had. I was halfway through my second cup, staring out the window, when I heard a familiar voice behind me. Well, I'll be damned. Is that you? I turned and there was old Mark, a friend from my youth, strutting in like he owned the place. He looked older, of course, but still tough as leather. Uncle Robert, I said with a grin, standing to shake his hand. Man, you're a sight for sore eyes. He chuckled and slid into the booth across from me. Good to see you too, son. You're looking good. A little road-worn, but good. I laughed. Thanks. It's been a long drive. He glanced around, as if checking for ghosts from the past. So, where's your aunt? I asked.
She's at the house with the girls, cleaning and getting things ready. The place needed some love. I patched a few leaky pipes this morning. Nothing serious. The fridge is humming again, the stove works, and the floors are scrubbed. Not bad, considering how long it's been empty. He leaned back. You'll probably want to modernize it. I shook my head. We'll see. I might keep some of the old charm. He smirked. That's the spirit. Hey, I said, waving the waitress over. Order whatever you want. Lunch is on me. Well now, he said, grinning like a kid. I guess I'll make it count. I sipped my coffee, feeling a sense of peace I hadn't felt in a long time. It felt like I was truly home. Before heading to my old farmhouse, I stopped at the local grocery store. The prices were much lower than I remembered. I filled 2 carts. At checkout, I realized the cashier and I had been in the same high school class. We caught up while she rang me out. When I finally pulled up to the house, it looked even better than I expected. My aunt and cousins came out, helped me unload, and stayed for coffee. After they left, I took a good look around. Uncle Robert was right. The place needed work. I called him for contractor recommendations. 2 hours later, he showed up with a crew. It gave me time to unpack. After the walkthrough, the consensus was clear. It was cheaper to build new. The old house needed new wiring and plumbing from top to bottom. The barn, however, was solid, with a new roof and fresh paint. I decided to turn it into my workshop for tractor and equipment repairs. That night, I called Chloe with the update. We agreed on a simple one-story home with a cold cellar, a crawl space, and double insulation for the harsh winters. I promised to visit her brother-in-law's dealership the next day. The next morning, I called the contractor. He said he'd bring by some plans after work. I returned the rental truck and went to the dealership where I bought a used Ram pickup with low mileage. I got it insured and plated before dropping off the rental. At the bank, I made my deposit, got some checks, and marveled at how cheap gas was. I then stopped by Chloe's brother's place, who, it turned out, was my old classmate. He offered me a job on the spot. I told him about my consulting plans on the farm. He grinned and teased me about Chloe, admitting he never understood her first husband. I confessed I didn't either. The contractor and I struck a deal for a 4-bedroom house with a 2-car garage behind where the old one stood. It would have a new septic system, gas heating, a gas stove, a backup generator, an open floor plan, and a mudroom with garage access. The divorce settlement would cover it. I updated Chloe later. She was glad I'd connected with her brother. Shortly after, Liam called. Isabella hired a private firm to find you. She still thinks you two can work things out. There's nothing to fix, I replied. She'd just do it again. Liam sighed. Isn't it strange how intelligent people can miss the simplest truths? No wonder the world's a mess. She doesn't think she did anything wrong. She thinks I should just accept it. She's only sorry she got caught, Liam said. I'm starting to see the same in Olivia. I might have to walk away too. If things don't change, I will. Push for counseling, I suggested, with someone who won't just enable her. It might open her eyes. Maybe, Liam said. If not, I'll move on. I threw myself into work on the barn. Tearing out the old stalls was tough, but I enjoyed it. After years behind a desk, working with my hands felt incredible. That Thursday night, Chloe called. My girls thought you could use some cheering up. They told my brother about our divorces, not knowing he's known for months. Her daughter Mia told him how you found out about Marcus, how we met, and how you helped him get the dealership years ago. Turns out, he feels he owes you.
They found out you moved back to run the family farm, and they talked about us for an hour. They were shocked he approved. Do you think they'll keep it quiet? I asked. They will now, Chloe said. After what they did, they won't say a word. What did they do? They booked me a flight, using my credit card. She laughed. I arrived Friday night. They told me to start living the dream, Mom. You both deserve it. I was waiting at the airport with roses, feeling like a teenager again. Chloe arrived, looking simple and natural, in jeans, a yellow blouse, and a denim jacket. She smiled, and I smiled back. It felt right. She hadn't eaten, so we grabbed her bag and went to the corner bistro. Her brother and sister-in-law were waiting. By the end of dinner, Chloe had agreed to be his lawyer once she moved back. The farmhouse looked just as I remembered. Chloe lit up when she stepped inside. We had beer and played old records, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Sinatra, and sat close on the couch. We took it slow. Meanwhile, Isabella was spiraling. There was no trace of me, no flights, no rentals, no credit card activity. Even the private investigators came up empty. Her lawyer kept asking for mine, but I hadn't retained one yet. She still thought she could fix things. She didn't even remember my relatives. They had never mattered to her. Our daughters were uneasy. I had always been the one to call, and now only Liam knew where I was, and he wasn't sharing. When Olivia pressed him, he laughed. It wasn't the reaction she expected. Isabella blamed me, accusing me of breaking up the family, of not doing what I was supposed to. What she meant was, I wasn't obeying. While she stewed, Chloe and I watched the sunrise with coffee in our hands. This, Chloe said, gives you strength. I took her hand. No words were needed. I feel like myself again, I said. Chloe smiled. I saw it last night. I nodded. It's quiet here. It feels real. We didn't rush anything. We didn't need to. I met her parents. Her dad immediately put me to work. 4 hours later, the old tractor ran smoothly. Chloe watched me clean up, smiling the whole time. Mudrooms, I thought of my mother, so we don't wreck the floors. Her dad chuckled. A professional shop would have taken a week. You fixed it today. Her mom glowed with approval. Chloe was coming home to stay. Seeing her off that Sunday was hard, but it was a good start. A few months passed. Things were moving forward. Isabella finally hired a lawyer. The court approved a 50-50 split of our declared assets. Chloe's husband was still dragging his feet, trying to hold on to every dime. Liam and Olivia were in counseling, since the baby was his, and making slow progress. Olivia was starting to see things differently. Their son, little Ethan, was growing fast. I looked forward to seeing him again. Isabella's daughters, Sophia and her sister, were shaken. Their ex-husbands had told them flat out that the trust was gone forever. I couldn't blame them. Even Isabella's bond with her daughters was fractured. I flew back to New York to test the company's new model. It involved 2 weeks of hard testing before it could go into production. The company put me up in a courtyard by Marriott. That night, I walked into the hotel restaurant and saw Chloe's daughters, Mia and Amber. Amber waved me over. "Mama, don't get mad," she said, scooting over. "I invited a friend." Chloe raised an eyebrow. "What are you up to?" Amber grinned. "Her sister and I figured you'd like to see him." Chloe turned, saw me, and broke into a beautiful smile. I'd grown a mustache and goatee since she'd last seen me, and I'd put on more muscle from the farm work. "Wow," Chloe said. "Nice surprise. I loved the look. What brings you here?" "Well, dinner with my girlfriend and her daughter, for starters," I said, winking. "Amber, thank you for setting this up." Just then, Mia arrived. "Hope I'm not late," she said, sliding in. Work ran long. Over dinner, I explained my project. The new tractor was designed to run on natural gas. If testing was successful, farmers could build cheap refill stations on their own land. It was a cleaner, cheaper, more efficient model that could change the market. Just before dessert, Amber asked, "Are you two hoping to settle in Montana before school starts?" Chloe nodded. "That's the plan." Amber leaned in. "How far is Clearwater Creek from the farm?" "About 40 miles, Chloe said. Amber grinned. "Good. I got into the MBA program at the university. Can I live with you? Otherwise, I'll have to stay with Uncle Joseph, and while it's cheap, it's—" Chloe blinked back tears. I reached across the table and took her hand. "We hoped you'd want to," I said. "The new 4-bedroom house will be done next month. You can pick your room colors." "You planned for us?" Mia asked. Chloe nodded. "We hoped, but we wanted you to choose. If I had pushed, you might have blamed me." "How did you figure that?" Amber asked. "Ethan asked if I trusted you to make your own choices," Chloe explained. I said yes. "Then let them," I added. "Your bond with your mom is stronger than with your dad." Amber studied me. "That first night, you sized us up. You knew we'd come, didn't you?" I shrugged. "Amber, I knew you'd pursue more schooling. Mia was the question, but when she brought up respect, I knew." Chloe smiled. "The hardest part was trusting it would all work out." We finished dinner, and Chloe and I went to a movie. Amber and Mia went home. As we were leaving the theater, I saw Isabella's car pulling into the lot. She didn't recognize me at first. By the time she did, we were gone. Working on the barn had done me good.
The potbelly was gone. I'd hardened up. I looked younger, and I felt it too. I was peeling back layers of myself I didn't know I'd buried. After the movie, I dropped Chloe off and returned to the hotel. I left a wake-up call for the morning. Security waved me in for the plant tour. This was the part of my old job I loved, seeing a finished machine ready to prove itself. By the time the rest of the team arrived, I was deep into testing. I'd found a couple of small issues, rerouted a feed line away from the engine's heat, and documented everything for the report. When my former colleagues saw me, they were surprised. And not just by the tractor. I looked different, healthier, stronger. The company president showed up while I was working, watching me haul and push heavy loads through the mudbed. The machine handled like a dream. He laughed when he saw me in jeans, a white t-shirt, and a backwards ball cap, driving like I owned the thing. "Ethan," he said, shaking his head, "you're still the man. You could probably flip this whole company on its head if you tried." He leaned on the fence. "So, first thoughts?" I wiped the sweat from my brow and grinned. "If it survives me, it's one of the best you've built. A few small tweaks, but it's running smooth. Plus, it's burning less fuel than diesel." He stepped forward, offering a handshake. "Good to see you again, my friend." He smiled. "We'd take you back in a second, but looking at you, I get why you left. Where'd you find the fountain of youth?" He didn't know the trick. I always tested machines like I did my first truck. Treat it like junk until it proves it isn't. By day's end, I leaned back against the tractor. It held up. 1 down, 9 more tests to go. It was nearly 8 by the time I dragged myself back to the hotel. I was covered in dry mud from head to toe. I spotted Olivia and Liam in the lobby. Olivia was rocking little Ethan in her arms. She caught my eye first and stood up, walking straight over. "Hey, Dad," she said, giving me a once-over. "You're looking rough. Got time to talk, or are you beat?" I glanced at Liam, who gave a small nod, a look that said, "We need this." "Yeah," I said, brushing mud from my sleeve, "but let me scrub the dirt off first."
Liam stood and came over. I waved toward the elevators. "Want to chill here or come up to the suite? It has a kitchen, we can order room service, whatever you want." Olivia shifted the baby on her hip. "The suite sounds good. We'll order while you clean up. We need to talk, really talk." So we went up. They got busy with room service while I hit the shower. When I came out, buttoning a fresh shirt, my phone buzzed. It was Chloe. I told her what was happening and promised to call her back. Back in the living room, I cracked open the bottle of single malt scotch I'd brought and poured us each a glass. The kids wanted soda, so I gave them a splash in their own glasses. Olivia didn't waste time. "Dad," she started, staring into her glass. "Liam and we've been through some serious stuff these last few months. What you showed on that recording, it blew up everything. I moved back home last week." Liam gave a small nod. Olivia continued, "Mom's been talking about her other relationships for years. We honestly thought you knew, that it was some kind of open marriage you had worked out. She made it sound like you were fine with it, that you didn't care anymore." I clenched my jaw, but kept my voice steady. "I didn't know." Olivia sighed. "Yeah, I figured. The truth is, she sold us a story about you two having different drives, different needs. I was buying it, until all this." Liam chimed in, looking like he'd aged 5 years. "We were almost done, Mr. Walker. We couldn't get past it. Olivia even took a polygraph." "Neither of us trusted where we were headed," she admitted. "I know," I said. "Look, I hope you both know you've been dealt a bad hand. It's going to take time to work through. But if you're both serious about fixing it, you have a shot. Just don't patch it up with lies." Olivia cracked a small, sad smile. I reached over and took little Ethan into my arms. The baby settled against my shoulder, soft as could be. "Liam, grab my phone. Take a picture for me, will you?" He did so without a word. Olivia kept going. I realized I was acting like Mom, justifying everything, thinking it was normal. Turns out, it's not. I didn't see it until I stopped and really thought about it. I hate it. It's like I didn't even know who I was becoming. Liam spoke up, his voice low. I'm starting to see someone different too, and I think we have more than just a slim chance to make this work. I leaned back, bouncing Ethan gently. It takes work and honesty, and sometimes you need someone outside the family to help sort out the mess. Don't be too proud for that. I paused. Your mom, she let other people, other voices, get in her head until she threw away everything we built like it was trash. And yes, I'm sure she's still blaming me. Olivia snorted. She is. I told my sisters flat out, I'm done listening to Mom twist things to make herself feel better. I have a marriage I'm not ready to lose. We fought about it. I told them when they're ready to be adults, maybe we can talk. Liam chuckled nervously. Room service knocked. We let them in. Over dinner, Olivia asked, Are you on a diet or something? You're looking fit. I laughed. No, just working with my hands again, not sitting behind a desk, wasting away. It feels good. By 10, they were getting ready to leave. Olivia hugged me tight and whispered, I like this version of you, Dad. I chuckled. Yeah, well, it turns out there was more of me left than I thought. I just needed to clear out the old life to find it. Later that night, I texted Chloe to see if she was still awake. She was, so I called and told her everything. People say time heals all wounds. It doesn't. It just teaches you to live with them. My daughters were learning that the hard way. On Tuesday night, around 7, I walked into the hotel lobby. There they were, my 2 youngest daughters, waiting for me. My first thought was that Isabella had sent them. I was right. Back in my suite, they went straight for me, accusing me of abandoning their mother. In their eyes, I was the coward, not her. They admitted their own marriages were over. Just like mine, their husbands couldn't handle them being modern women, as they put it. I'd had enough. I called security. The guards walked in, took one look, and asked, You want them out, sir? I nodded. Out the back, please. They left crying, humiliated. As they went, security told them not to return. I heard one guard mutter, We don't need that kind of company here. I called Chloe later. She couldn't stop laughing. They'll be thinking about that for a while, she said. Without love, someone always pays, one way or another. Mind if I tell Mia and Amber? Go ahead, I said. Might as well light the fuse. A couple of hours later, Olivia called. Well done, Dad, she said. They came here bawling. It finally hit them. Their choices stink just like everyone else's. They didn't give me a chance to explain. They didn't want one. All they cared about was making sure I was the villain. They'll see it, Olivia said. Liam and I did. He actually liked how you handled it. We're starting to get it now. How did Mom convince us everything was okay? My sisters are hurting badly. It'll take time. I kept it simple. Olivia, did you ever stop to think what it did to me? Or did you only think about yourselves? She went quiet. Then she said, Mom painted everything in soft colors, made it all seem fine. We couldn't see the truth until it blew up. That's how most people live, Olivia. They never question what's right in front of them. She asked, What's different about you? You're learning it now, I said. It's called thinking. Welcome to my world. Sorry you had to take the hard road to get here. The next night, I went to Chloe's for dinner. Amber and Mia wanted to start planning the move. Over dinner, I shared what Olivia had told me. Afterward, we did the dishes together. I washed, the girls dried. It felt like old times, until they caught Chloe and me stealing a kiss. Amber grinned. Busted. Mia rolled her eyes. You two are worse than teenagers. We all laughed. It felt like life again. It was close to 8 when Chloe and I settled into a quiet table at a small restaurant by the pier. Candlelight, the smell of fresh seafood, the sound of soft waves outside, the kind of night you'd try to make special. We were sipping our drinks, getting comfortable, when I saw the unmistakable sight of my twin daughters walking in. Before I could duck or pretend not to see them, the host was at our table. Excuse me, he said nervously. Your daughters noticed you and wondered if you'd mind them joining you. I hesitated. I wasn't sure I wanted them anywhere near this dinner. Chloe gave me a soft nudge under the table. Say yes, she whispered.
You may not like them right now, but you still love them. They're your girls." I let out a breath. She wasn't wrong. "Yeah," I said, standing up. "Sure, bring them over." I slid into the booth beside Chloe. A minute later, Faith and Hope walked over. You could see the conflict on their faces, nerves, regret, and a stubbornness that still lingered. They sat down like children waiting to see the principal. I didn't sugarcoat it. "Faith, Hope, this is Chloe. She's not just my lawyer, she's my girlfriend. If you're here to tear into me again, you can save it and walk out right now." Faith glanced at Hope, then back at me. "No, Dad. We deserve that." She rubbed the back of her neck, looking everywhere but at me. We had a long talk with Olivia on Tuesday night. She didn't hold back. She really laid into us, honestly. Hope nodded. "Yeah, we went over there thinking she'd back us up. Instead, she wrecked us. She laid it all out, told us how we looked, how we acted, how ugly it all was." Faith's eyes started to well up. She said we were basically being paid off like prostitutes.
Not for the dirty game, but for playing along with Mom's version of the story. Getting perks for staying blind, Hope added. And the worst part? We realized she was right. We weren't just surviving, we were complicit. Because it was fun. Because we thought we were untouchable. It hit different when Olivia said it. Faith leaned forward, her voice low. "When we got home, we confronted Mom. It blew up fast. She said we'd been brainwashed by your conservative nonsense." Hope scoffed. "She straight up said, 'So what if people get hurt? They should toughen up. The only crime is getting caught.' She went on about how politicians do worse and walk away clean." Faith shook her head. "She has no shame, Dad. Still doesn't. But we finally saw it for what it is. We're teachers. We tell kids right from wrong every day. But we've been living like none of it applied to us." Hope took a breath. "So, we found a place. A small 2-bedroom, furnished, near the school. It's cheap enough. We signed a 6-month lease. We figured it's time to figure out who we are without Mom whispering in our ears." Faith's voice cracked. "We're moving in tomorrow. Mom's too busy at some political fundraiser anyway. When we saw you tonight, we knew we had to say something. We were wrong. About everything. About you." Hope nodded. "And we understand why you didn't confront us. It would have been 4 against 1. You knew we had to see it for ourselves." I took a deep breath. "Sometimes, the only way through is letting people fall on their own," I said quietly. "Truth is, you were already forgiven. I saw how much of your mess was just you following your mother's lead. As for Isabella, I'll forgive her, but I will never trust her again." I slid my phone across the table. "Put your numbers in and take mine." They both did, without hesitation. Hope glanced at the screen. "Dad, is this a Montana number?" I smirked. "Yeah, moved back to the farm." Faith lit up like a child. "No way! Grandpa's farm?" Chloe raised an eyebrow. "You two know the place?" Hope laughed. "Know it. We lived there every summer growing up. Dad made sure we went every year until we got too cool for it in high school." Faith added, "We never got a single call from Mom while we were there. Grandma always said Mom was the shallowest woman she'd ever met." Chloe chuckled. "I can believe that." Faith leaned in. "So, Dad, what brings you to town? And Chloe, can we get your number too, just in case?" The mood of the dinner shifted. It wasn't heavy anymore. It felt like family. We laughed, we shared stories, and we talked about the new house Chloe and I were building. It turned out the twins were curious about Chloe's daughters, too. Then, in the middle of dessert, Hope's phone buzzed. She read the text out loud. "Having dinner with Dad and his girlfriend Chloe. Faith and I will swing by later to explain everything." Later that night, Chloe and I walked along the pier, just taking it all in. I'm surprised. You stepping back forced them to sort it out themselves. My dad always said, "Give someone enough rope and they'll hang themselves." If I had stayed, it would have been 4 against 1. Instead, they turned on each other. Their own sense of right and wrong did the work. Chloe nodded. Evil only works if someone is willing to carry it out. Most people just blame others. You were the scapegoat. I couldn't go along with it. I wouldn't. That's what makes you solid. You don't bend just because you're outnumbered. Meanwhile, Isabella came home from a long political event, wanting to patch things up with the twins. Their last argument had been ugly. Too much of their father's backbone was showing through, and she couldn't stand it. She tossed her purse on the counter and found 2 keys and a note. "We've moved out. We don't like who we've become. Good luck. We blocked your number. Faith and Hope."
Later, Olivia found her staring at it. "I haven't heard from them since Tuesday," she said. "Since Dad had security toss them out of the Marriott." Isabella turned. "He threw them out? Why?" "They went after him hard, Mom, called him a coward and blamed him for everything. He listened for a bit, then said, 'I'm done,' and called security." Olivia smirked. "Security thought they were prostitutes, showed them the back door." "That's not funny," Isabella said, shaken. "When they showed up here crying, they told me everything," Olivia said. "Want to know what I told them?" Isabella hesitated. "Maybe." Olivia shrugged. "I said, when those men were whining and dining you, you weren't special, you were just getting paid early." Isabella's face went blank. Tears followed. She knew. She saw it plainly. In that moment, she realized the truth. She would never face me again, not as an equal, not as a partner. What Olivia said was my truth, and it broke them all. No one could spin it. It was simple. Those romantic weekends were nothing more than paid services. Without saying a word, I had told the world and left her to sit with it. It took her weeks to process it fully. The truth wasn't that I had left her, it was that she had left me, long ago. By who she had become. The twins were proof of that. No man could stay after seeing it for what it was. If the truth got out, she was done, and I knew it. Yet by walking away, I left her with something she never gave me, her dignity. Now even her daughters were pulling away. Isabella realized it too late. There was no scapegoat left. She looked around the house. It felt too big, too empty, too full of reminders. She'd tell herself she was selling it for practical reasons, but she knew better. Chloe and I returned to her house after a night out. A few drinks, a little dancing. We passed out on the couch without a care. Amber and Mia didn't waste the moment. They snapped a few photos and sent them straight to Faith and Hope. Minutes later, my phone rang. The 4 of them were already planning something. One of them even tossed a blanket over us, like kids tucking in their parents. I woke up to find an angel asleep in my arms. Chloe looked peaceful. I glanced at my phone, past 7 a.m. We had crashed around 1. Mia was sitting in a chair watching us. "I guess I better get used to this," she said with a grin. "Mom looks happy. I'll make coffee." An hour later, the 4 of us sat around the kitchen table, sipping coffee and talking. Then the girls dropped a surprise. "By the way," Chloe said casually, "my side of the family is coming this afternoon for a get-together." Chloe and I jumped into action. I checked the grill and topped off the propane. She got dressed and made a grocery list. We stopped by my suite so I could shower and clean up, then headed to the grocery store. As we were walking in, Isabella was walking out. She stopped right in front of me, arms crossed, trying to sound calm but looking like hell. "Ethan, let the girls know I'm selling the house," she said flatly. "Since none of them are speaking to me, they can swing by when I'm at work and get whatever. Same goes for you." I didn't flinch. "I'll pass it along. Chloe will handle anything for me. I'm giving her power of attorney." I met her eyes. "And as for me, I already took what mattered when I left. I'm only in town for another week." Isabella gave a small nod, not sure if she wanted to say more or just walk away. In the end, she turned and left, her heels clicking down the aisle as if nothing was wrong. Chloe and I stood there for a moment before pushing our cart down the next aisle. "Awkward," Chloe muttered. We shopped in silence until I finally broke it. "Something's off with her," I said. "She's not just cold, she looked rattled." "You think it's because the twins moved out?" Chloe asked. I shook my head. "No, she's used to being alone. This is different."
She loves that house. Selling it? That's not like her. Something hit her harder than she's letting on. Chloe glanced at me. You still care what happens to her? I sighed. Not like that. But I know her. I know when she's hiding something. During the barbecue, Chloe and I found out what the twins had written to their mother and what Olivia had said afterward. All 5 girls, my 2 and her 3, got along like they'd known each other forever. Liam and I mostly watched from the sidelines while the women caught up. Amber and Mia couldn't get enough of little Ethan. Later, I told my daughters about the encounter with their mother at the grocery store. Liam smirked. I called dibs on the big plasma TV. Olivia just rolled her eyes. I couldn't help but laugh. The first 2 family get-togethers had gone better than I could have ever hoped. After the girls left and we finished cleaning up, Chloe and I settled on the porch with a couple of cold beers. So, Amber said, Faith and Hope cut ties with your ex, at least for now, to figure out who they are without her. Chloe frowned. Why would they do that? They followed their mother's lead, I said. They got caught up with the wrong crowd, and it cost them their marriages. It took me leaving Isabella for them to see the truth. Last week, they showed up ready to blame me. I threw them out. Later, Olivia told them straight. When your friends with benefits were whining and dining you, you were being paid in advance. Amber blinked. Seriously? Liam spoke gently. Your mother and I were taught early on, it's not just about how you see yourself, but how others see you. People read your actions, not your intentions. Chloe leaned against me. Exactly. That's why my choices hit harder than anything he said. The twins realized they needed to step back and figure out who they really are. I'm proud of them, I said. They've started healing, I added, because they got honest. The words sank in. No one said much for a moment. Then Amber grinned. You're going to make a great dad. Chloe lost it, laughing and crying all at once. The rest of the week was quiet. Chloe and I made the most of the time. The new tractor passed every test. The president was thrilled. I called it the Titan. Before I left, we had one last family gathering. The twins grew closer to Chloe's daughters. Chloe barely let go of little Ethan. Chloe and Marcus settled their divorce. She offered him the house. He took it, hoping to win back the girls. I flew home the last week of September. The new house was ready, the old one torn down. The barn was fixed up, the driveway rebuilt. Uncle Robert drove me to the airport. I would return driving a rental truck. Chloe had sold her practice. Her associate would finish the divorce proceedings. Deliveries kept coming to the farm. Uncle Robert helped set up the furniture. The extras went to Goodwill. Neighbors pitched in. That Friday, Chloe met me at the airport with Amber and Mia. I kissed her, dropped to one knee, and proposed. The girls filmed the whole thing. Amber and Mia had arranged a celebration dinner. All 5 daughters and Liam showed up. We danced most of the night. At Chloe's house afterward, Mia stopped us. Wait in the car. They came back with a bag. Sweets booked, Amber grinned. You're not coming home until Monday. At the hotel, we found champagne, chocolates, and a note. Congrats from your 5 daughters. We didn't leave all weekend. On Monday, we picked up the U-Haul. Why is it so big? I asked. Chloe smiled. You'll see. Faith and Hope showed up later. We're moving west, Faith said. We got hired near Clearwater Creek. Chloe gave them some furniture. We loaded the truck with what they took from Isabella's house. They had rented a 3-bedroom, so Amber would have a place during storms. I dropped the suit against Marcus after he agreed to cover the court costs. By late October, Chloe and I finalized our divorces.
On the first Saturday of November, we were married with the whole family there. Olivia and Liam came with little Ethan. Then Chloe surprised everyone.
To my husband and to all of you, we're expecting in June. We don't know yet if it's a boy or a girl.